Warning, the following video contains scenes of excessive zombie violence and gore. If you are deeply upset or shocked by such things and are a bit of a pansy, then don't watch the video. Please move on. Next up, and it swells my manhood with pride to say this, is Fido, a Canadian zombie movie starring Billy Connolly and Carrie-Anne Moss. I'm particularly pleased that they've been able to show Fido at this year's Zombie Film Festival, because Dom and Mark have actually been trying to secure the rights for this ever since the first festival.
We tried to get the rights for this for 4 years, and Lionsgate wouldn't give the rights to show it at all. And we got the sense that joking about that it was just simply because they couldn't be bothered as much as anything else. Really weird. Anyway, Fido, a Canadian zombie film starring Billy Connolly. Which is a strange combination, really. Yes, the Lionsgate were really difficult, but it's really quite a big budget movie. It's set in a sort of alternate 50s universe, where the zombies have become zombified because of rays from space. Which I think is a good enough excuse for any zombie film. Really, not many other excuses. No. So it's it was had a big budget of about $8 million, and it's a really good film, and it's a mystery to us, and I'm sure it will be to you when you've seen it. What a limited release it had! It had a really limited release in America and globally. Sorry. It made less than $500,000, having cost $8 million. And because of that, Fido is among the lowest return on investment films ever recorded. So on that note, please enjoy the crushing box office flop that is Fido.
The film is set in an alternative universe in 1950s America, where World War II never took place, as mankind was actually busy fighting off the zombie forces. There's been a change in the atmosphere of the planet, which makes anyone who has died come back to life as a flesh-eating zombie. Mankind has managed to make these zombies domesticated thanks to the use of collars that control their hunger of human flesh, and are now used as household slaves.
What is that zombie doing in my Easy Boy?
Imagine if you had Shaun of the Dead, but you took the setting and crossed it over with Pleasantville, and you'll probably have something that kind of resembles Fido, along with a few moments from Lassie. It's no accident that the little lad that Billy Connolly's zombie, named Fido, becomes best friends with, is called Timmy.
Is Timmy in trouble?
Fido now, despite the fact that Billy Connolly hardly says anything, he makes a fantastic performance, he actually makes a great zombie. Funnily enough, Billy Connolly actually gets killed off in most movies that he's ever been in, including the Muppets. Muppets Treasure Island is the only character to be killed off in a Muppets movie. So with this, he just skips straight to the dead part, really. But Fido is definitely the one that you need to check out. It's only had a limited release, which is completely criminal if you ask me, but it's one that definitely needs to be checked out. And I'm so glad that the father managed to get a licensing out to show this.
Next up, we've got French zombie movie, The Horde, or La Horde if you like. The plot centres around a group of corrupt French policemen who embark on a mission of vengeance after one of their colleagues dies at the hands of a notorious drug dealer. They storm a housing complex within the heart of a derelict Paris neighbourhood, with the intention of taking the drug baron down. However, the operation is a failure, and the team are captured. But suddenly, both sides find themselves confronted by a rather different opponent as a zombie apocalypse breaks out. Now, cops and criminals will have to forge an uneasy alliance in order to survive the undead forces. Like the Resident Evil movies, this is less reliant on tension and scares, and instead goes for tongues of blood and bullets washing the screen. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. In particular, the hand-to-hand bitch fight between a tough cop and a zombie woman got a huge cheer from the audience, and is perhaps one of the best fight scenes I've seen for a while. However, at times it did seem like the filmmakers had spent a lot of time playing on the video game Left 4 Dead, as that game's 4 main characters were all represented within this film too. One scene in particular, where one of the characters was stored on top of a vehicle in an underground car park filled with zombies, also looks to be lifted straight from Left 4 Dead as well. However, the film does explore that good old zombie movie question. Can mankind actually put its differences aside in order to live through a zombie apocalypse? And do we, as a species, actually deserve to survive?
So with The Horde, you don't know whether to root through the cops or the criminals in this one. In particular, when a bunch of the male characters decide to take advantage of an incapacitated female zombie and I quote, fuck this little slut. At times, the zombies themselves often seem the more appealing characters to root for. Although we'll say this, the war veteran with his machine gun and his massive axe, his big chopper, excuse me, is easily the most amusing character of the lot. You want fucking hardcore? He's got fucking hardcore!
Thank everybody at Classic Girls Cinema. We'd like to thank Andrea Seeley, who's been amazing. It's really all our publicity. Please give her a round of applause, guys. We'd like to raise the fortune for the FBA. We haven't counted it all yet, but we'll put it on the website as soon as we know how much we've raised. Cottage Joy Cinema have been brilliant as well, so can we have a round of applause for them? Thank you to all of you for coming. Every year, we cannot believe it. We cannot believe you idiots turn up every year, and we're really grateful, so thank you. And now I'm going to leave it to Dom to introduce The Evil Dead, a zombie film.
And finally tonight, before we go off into the night, Sam Raimi's cult classic, The Evil Dead. To be honest, I'm a little surprised that this film was included, considering that Dom and Mark have disagreed with each other over whether this actually counted as a zombie movie or not.
Hands up, who thinks it's a zombie film? That means you're a dick too! Hands up, who thinks it shouldn't have been shown? No, you're a dick.
Although if Dom could talk Mark into including Burial Ground, The Nights of Terror last year, then anything's possible, I guess. Mummy, this cloth smells of death.
Zombie film. Zombies are zombies. There is no such thing as a zombie. So, there is no such thing as a zombie. So we can create them in our own. What? Well, if it's the what? Stella, that's what. It's all bullshit. It's a demon. Zombies living in a strange dream. Strange dream where zombies exist on everything. Good night. Where the heart is. Zombie drama. Please enjoy this film about zombies that became zombies through evil possession. Yes!
A group of 5 friends go camping for the weekend in an old run-down cabin in the middle of the woods. Never a good idea in a zombie movie. Well, it turns out that some professor has been translating the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. A centuries-old book that just happens to have been written in blood and bound in human flesh, so don't expect to find it in your local library. In stupidity rarely seen outside a horror movie or an episode of Scooby-Doo, Ash and his friends play the tape recordings of the professor's work, which results in the summoning of the evil spirits. This was one of the first films to be given the Video Nasty label over here in the UK, along with Zombie Flesh Eaters, and was actually one of the films used in order to argue in favour of a Video Nasty list in the first place. As a result, it was banned for many years, mainly due to scenes where ordinary household objects like pencils are stabbed in ankles, and some unfortunate lassie becomes the victim of some randy trees. It's a little slow in places, and Ash is a bit of a pansy in the first film. He doesn't really become the badass we all know and love until the sequel, which I really hope Dom and Mark can get for next year.
The Evil Dead will then look for 2 more sequels, numerous video games, comic books, and even a musical. Your team stars on a 4th movie series as well. If you want to saw The Evil Dead in one word, it would be this. Groovy. So in time now, the big LED is going to give the 4th Leeds Zombie Film Festival.
And then it pissed off.
Most of the time it's there. God.
Doesn't he know that's not what you do for these zombie film festivals? Spend all your time in the bloody bar. on Zoom for that girl's book.